Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Laslo Pastor, and I'm solution architect in the WSO2. And maybe you already know, maybe not, but WSO2 is integration platform that have API management and identity access management in the kind of two major or two pillar of offering that we are coming as a vendor on the market. But today we're going to talk about one of our industry offers that we identified, and it's actually in the domain of the healthcare solution. So literally this is, workshop, but I'm going to do all work by myself. So basically you just need to relax and pay attention. And then I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Of course, it's not going to be punishment if you don't know, but if it's going to be a reward if you answer correctly. So let's start about why we actually even start thinking about the healthcare industry. The reason for that, compared to other vendors on the market, we already have a platform that was perfect for this kind of solution, because we understand that in the industry like healthcare that is heavily registered and legally controlled, it's something that our platform already have built-in functionality. For that reason, we created some kind of additional features, and how we call it accelerators, that help us to create turnkey solution. So turnkey solution is one of the facts that you need to remember. The other things that in our product mostly focus on the API management. And we already have kind of integration capabilities, because we are well known on the market for more than 16 years creating this kind of integrations. Usually this integration related to pretty much any kind of data or system layer or record set. It could be database, service, or any kind of external services. But we understand that in the healthcare industry, usually healthcare provider, pharma, or any kind of providers have around 20 to 50 different source records that usually it connect to. So we just kind of identify a couple of source that we can natively connect, and we included in that solution. The next part that we kind of already had is data layer that kind of expose these underlying services in the manner and that anyone can consume it. Usually this is the standard communication protocol like JMS, HTTP, message queues. We are all natively supported already. So we kind of created kind of accelerators. Accelerator is again another part that I want you to remember, that we kind of created specific connectors for the record set that we identified that these providers in the healthcare industry using it. And then here you have something that we, for the last 16 years creating, it's kind of API management. There is a couple of functionalities that is kind of identified, and you're going to see that every other vendor already populating and kind of addressing. But this is something that is specific to our solution. This solution kind of part of something that we already had, and something that we built purposely for the healthcare industry. Mostly, we focused on the FHIR data mapping connector. This is one of the benefits if you're using our platform that our customers looking for. How easily to transform any kind of data that you're already using in your environment to standards like FHIR. FHIR is not something new on the market, but it's natively involved for a previous standard data representation. It's heavily regulated, and there is a recent government's push that every data that's going to be part of the ecosystem, it's need to be converted in the FHIR data. On the left side, you see the basic functionality of any API management. We have analytics, identity, and kind of API intelligence, but part of this that I want you to remember is a consent management. So this is also something that it came from the requirements that in the healthcare industry it's needed, because right now the data that we are dealing in the healthcare industry is not in the domain of the layer that he's consuming. This data is personal data of a patient, and for that reason, patient as an object controlling those data. So it's really a need that any application that consuming these data have a consent from the person that those data earns. Of course, on the top of this, how we calling stakeholders is the layer that consuming those data from the perspective of the application developers. On the next slice, right, you're going to see the architecture reference. Why we are actually talking about the architecture reference is because this solution is something that we're going to build for you. Usually the situation that we are covering, that our prospects come for kind of having the vision, how they not kind of quite understand how they're going to build this environment. They know that they need to satisfy the regulatives, and also they have an ecosystem with the legacy systems, and now they have a problem that on the one end, they need to be pushed in the upper solution, following the new standards, but in the other way, they have a problem how to integrate with something that already existing in their ecosystem. So for that reason, we actually starting from the left that APIs is something that is defined by standard, because the exchange between the data consumers and systems that creating data need to be controlled by FHIR, APIs. So what we did as a company, we actually focused and understand the requirements, and we pre-build the all APIs that is defined by law and put it in our API hub, which means, in the nutshell, that any company that interested in this domain, they can download these APIs that is pre-built based on the standard. And it's kind of proprietary WSO2 value, but it's kind of in the way that anyone can download it, and it's already going to have the at least legal requirements that need to satisfy. On the other hand, these APIs, it can be exposed in our marketplace, kind of called development portal. It's kind of place when your application developer can consume this API in order to build a smart application, or it can actually embed it and put it in other applications. This is the FHIR server, but basically when we have all these APIs predefined. Underline here, again, FHIR accelerators, we actually created the FHIR data mapping. Basically, this is the technology that we already had. We actually have capability that any kind of source system or source data you can convert, either it's XML to JSON, JSON to XML, comma separated value to any kind of form. So literally what we did, we use that data mapping to create the FHIR transformation connectors, how we call it data mapper. But now the challenge was, because the FHIR definition, it's come with the different flavors. Is it a Karin, blue button print? There is a different kind of representation of the same data, and not every providers and healthcare subject interested in all specific data that FHIR provides. So now there was a challenge how to extract data that you already have, how to create FHIR based on the information that you want, and kind of deal with these data that maybe you already have in the legacy system. So we create this easy mapping capability when your developers just need to populate the data from the Fire that they are interested in. From the Fire Accelerator, we actually create the connectors, we create different APIs, and on the end we have even a Fire bundle on the Fire validator that can combine different Fire structures and create summary of payload. This part, analytics, it's already was in our platform, and it's kind of covering analytics, monitoring, and alert system. Of course, it's coming with a part of the solution that we just used and bundled together in our solution. So, having said that, there is again two approaches how to consume and build the environment in your system. Usually, there is something that we are calling real-time transformation. So, your record of the source and your application consuming data in the runtime flow. Benefit of this system that you always have the latest data, and the update is immediately mirror to record of the system. Problem with this approach is that if something happened between communication, your service is not going to be available. Other approach is to basically create some kind of repository, data repository, and basically you are responsible to sync data with the record of the system, but in that case, application is going to have a constant source of the record. So from the persistent perspective, this solution is much resilient, but the problem is synchronization, because in some cases you can have data that is out of the sync. But how we approach that, and I'm going to kind of jump to the solution just quickly. So how we are actually achieve that, and I'm sorry that it's kind of small, but I'm going to try to describe what you're seeing on the system. On the left side of the system, of the screen, sorry, you have the solution that from our API hub, you can download it when you're choosing the APIs that you want to embed in your application. So this solution is kind of part of our enterprise integrator platform. And this enterprise integration platform, it's a tool that you can create the integration synapse with the low-level code, or kind of just simply using drag and drop capabilities like in this. So basically from the left side you have all the models, and by simply drag and drop you are capable to kind of create the different synapses and kind of present the non-technical people the flow that you're trying to build. Every of these modules have a properties that you just simply fill it up, and on the end you have a kind of behind the code that we can actually integrate it in our API management as a service, and you can use it to connect, transform, or even integrate with the different endpoints. So the benefit of this is that this solution is pre-built. So how it's built? Because we have a different templates that covering different standards. As I said, covering Blueprint, DaVinci, and based on that standard, we can kind of predefine this solution. So your developer actually just need to focus on the workflow that he's going to just simply drag and drop and create it. In this usual scenario, when you have a database or any kind of record system, our approach is that our platform is capable to create the data services from any record of the system. Once when you have the data services, it can be deployed in our runtime, and literally you're going to have the solution like here. So right now I have a database. Again, it's too small to see it, but basically in the select role, you're going to see that basically I have a two line, basically two patient here. It's too small to see it, but you need to trust me. And this is like simple database, but with our solution, I actually wrap it with a data service. Once when I have a data service, I can integrate it, or basically I can call it with a simple curl command, and you're going to see that, I expose this data service on the particular port. And right now, if I'm using, patient, let's call it any patient, you're going to see that I'm getting the data from the database in the FHIR format. So what happened really? In the solution, I have a connection to the database, and I actually expose the all SQL procedures as a web service. Once when I have a web service, in the Synapse, I created that FHIR mapper that actually populate the database in the FHIR format. So once right now, where I am in this scenario, let me kind of just quickly jump back to presentation so you can understand. Where we are. So from the solution, we are here. So I had a database exposed services, and in the services, I actually use the data mapper connector and the FHIR accelerators to expose that in the FHIR. So right now, when I have this layer, I'm going to just simply use my dev portal to expose these APIs in the way that application developer can use it. For that, I actually have two portals. One, it's called Publisher, and this is like place when the API developer come and create APIs. So API, in a nutshell, is just a facade for underlying services. So, okay, let me log. And right now you see that this is API that I exposed. And if you go in the details, and this is like kind of standard API. So it's nothing really changed from the product that you can download it and use it, because don't forget that we are the open source, the last open source solution on the market. So literally you download it, spin it on your local machine, or on-prem, or in cloud, or in hybrid version, it doesn't matter. You're going to have the same environment, and you can run it immediately. On this solution, I actually installed the Open Healthcare Accelerator that brings some additional functionality, but in the nutshell, creating the API is just simple as it is. So you just need to focus on the endpoint. And you see that basically this endpoint using the same address that I just invoked in my Postman. Once when I have this endpoint, so basically this is the endpoint that I used in the Postman, and I can just show if anyone forget it. Yep, sorry, not that one. So right now, when I have a capability to kind of define the subscription level, to kind of include all tiers that I want to include, that I have a full built-in API definition underlined. This is the Swagger definition of my API that is kind of created, how I'm populating these fields. I have full baked-in lifecycle that I see that my API is currently published. I can kind of demote it or deprecate it or even block it with the one single click. I have the full lifecycle. I can even include the scopes and if I wanted to create additional functionality on the security level. But right now, if I go to Dev Portal, this is my marketplace. Let me kind of just wait. And right now, this is the way when your application developers is going to see the APIs. They're going to have all these source download, possibility to download the Swagger. They're going to have the predefined SDKs that they can include in their application. This is just part of the list that we are supporting. But the most critical part is that they can create the active subscription. And they even have a tool to try out APIs. So they're going to need authorization access. You know, we are supporting OpenID authorization token. You see it. This is like kind of, you know, JWT token. And right now, even here in our platform, they can even try it out. So, you know, if I try right now, I'm actually through API layer, I have a full definition of the curl command, and I have example of how the response should look like. And if I execute, I'm going to get a response. Of course, my network is kind of messed up, but you know, if I just copy paste that curl command and kind of put it in the new. Let's kind of make it bigger. And if I hit, I'm going to get the response that resource is going to return as a patient. So now probably someone is going to ask, okay, why I'm not getting the full result of the patient data? Why? Because it's actually going through the layer of the API, and now the accelerators on the Fire, it's actually kicking out. Right, why? Because by the standard of the healthcare industry, they said that, you know, the data that API or any application consuming need to have consent from the owner of the data. We're going to have a talk tomorrow that's going to talk about this more in the detail. I'm going to just present what actually that means. From the presentation perspective, I just want to kind of go back. We are here. So this is, you know, just before we jump there, I just want to see from the, okay, cool. This is like how the hub of API definition look like. We have, you know, you see the different standards, and this is all the list of APIs that is already pre-built in our API hub. There is address here, but you know, you can contact me after or online. I can present this address, and I'm going to, you know, it's kind of public. You can go there and create the free account, and you can download these predefined APIs. And this is how our dev portal or marketplace look. It's kind of, you know, right now this is just view that we created just for idea how it could be. Literally, it's completely customized, and a lot of our customers using in their way, so you cannot actually tell are you using their portal or ours. But the and also this is additional standard that, you know, every time when you're creating API, the statement or capability statement need to be presented. We also have that once when you create the API, you're going to have this, and this is predefined. This is these what accelerators that we build. So this is what I want to cover. So right now, this is the standard, and this is like a regulative that tell that every data that is consumed need to have permission for application to expose that. This is not ours. This is something that we get from the HL7 definition, but This is something that is already inbuilt in our solution. So basically, it's part of our identity access management, or IS, how we are calling. So what we did, we only just push this solution in the healthcare solution and kind of add that as out-of-the-box functionality. In the nutshell, it's going to be better that I'm going to show, and then I'm going to explain how it's actually looking. So in the situation, let me kind of log in. So right now, what's happening? Right now, I'm going to create the application that consumes my API. And this accelerator is going to understand, okay, I'm going to use the data, but I cannot expose these data until the user gives me permission to do it. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to try to log in, and right now I'm using one of these two records in the database. One is Brian, other is, I don't know. Right. So right now, he understands that, yes, I'm logged in, but before he actually get me into my application, he understands that my application trying to use all these information. We are calling kind of, personal information. So he's actually understand that there is a two call. One is actually using the explanation of the benefits. And this is the, basically in our dev portal, you saw that there is two API. One is the patient data, and other is explanation of the benefit. And this is the patient data. So right now, I have capability to kind of, allow all the data, and I have capability to give a specific time, because, I'm allowing, but it's not independent. I want to, allow 1 week, 1 month, couple of hours, it doesn't matter, I can control it. And once if I allow, it's going to show me my patient data. And then if I show the benefit, actually it's calling the other API and presenting the data that I have in the database. If I log out and change anything during the login, let's kind of remove the prescription data, and let's say that I'm not fine to share my address. If I now allow, what's going to happen? So first of all, on the application level, I'm not going to be able to see address anymore. And on the benefit from the API, when I'm calling the explanation of the benefit, I'm not going to have any information about the subscription. So this is something that our customers are really interested. The next step of next involvement is to control the data on the value level. So let's say that, I'm fine that you can see my prescription for allergy, but I don't want to see my prescription about, treatment or cancer treatment that I have. So something like that. So this is something that sometimes we have, but this is like kind of, another layer of customization that we are doing per customer when it's needed. Because you need to understand that, our usual roadmap or implementation time frame to implement this on particular organization go anywhere from the 2 weeks to 2 months. But what we are actually stand behind that, if you sign and take this as out of the box, we guarantee that in 1 month we can push you to production. With, of course, with your data and in your ecosystem. So let's go back to presentation. So this is the content management in the nutshell. Of course, this is like API management. If you want to have the same functionality about the other applications that is not part of the healthcare, it's also possible with our another platform. It's called Identity Access Management. And for that reason, it's actually possible to even like a SaaS offering, or we can actually embed that solution on-prem solution. So you're going to see all applications, not strictly meant for healthcare. You can include any application, and you on that, in that case, you're going to see the all list of all applications, and in your profile, you can revoke any of these attributes as you want it. This is also something that we already have, and it's just part of our regular standard platform. So this is that I want to tell that how we actually build this automating data mapping. And if you see, this is something that your developer is going to see, that basically we have just modules that you just can drag and drop. And this is all these FHIR transformation connectors that we have out of the box. Currently, we supporting Aetna, CERN, and Epic out of the box, but we are daily building for any kind of other ARM systems as well. And this is how this, in the nutshell, this data mapper looked like before. So you had a capability to kind of connect input with output, and this link, it's actually support any kind of functionality. It was a string like concatenation, Boolean, mathematics or arithmetic possibilities you had in order to convert one input to one output source. So basically, in the nutshell, our data mapping is, in the nutshell, already exists like, years and years before. And this is the way how we are actually connecting to any systems. We creating these, how we are calling connectors. And your developer, because we are kind of proud and we have a response from our customers that already using us, that with this environment, they have improved like 60 to 70% development experience, and much faster application development. Because your developer is just going to create, right now there is kind of, connectors. He's going to just grab and drop, and this connector is automatically connect to the source, and he's just going to populate the, properties from the payload, and your developers just need to, do that. Once when he's going to build it and deploy the Synapse, and he doesn't need to kind of underline how we connect to that. And it's kind of, from the security perspective, it's much safer because you're not exposing your public account data in the connector. This is how the full Synapse look like. You have something that we are calling low-code integration, and this is easy to understand even to with non-technical people. And currently, this is also something that we already have. As I said, Swagger definition based on the open API definition. We have statement capability and other connectors. Data transformation, I presented how it's look like, and this is something that we are supporting out of the box. And this is the connecting MR systems that we are offering as of today. So this is this slide I particularly leave for the end before we jump to the questions, because most of our prospects asking why we should choose you and why we shouldn't go to somewhere else. And my answer is always the same. You're not going to make a big mistakes if you choose anyone. But your real question would be, why you actually trying to implement this healthcare solution? Are you just simply need to satisfy the regulatives and you are doing this investment only for a one time? Or you really need a platform that's going to be capable to address the future challenges that you're going to have. Because, you know, the platform that usually you are putting in your organization should address advantages or kind of challenges that you're going to have from 5 years from now. So for that reason, you need a platform that is flexible enough and have a strong fundamental capabilities to expand. For that reason, you know, this is the WSO2 kind of offer that we are always telling that this is something that we not build only for a healthcare reason, and we are not satisfying, you know, the regulatives that today you are looking at. Our platform is capable to expand. Our platform is capable for your developers that don't even need to understand all these regulatives. They're going to use the pre-built blocks like accelerators. They have capability to visually mapping, you know, because you need to understand that this fire, it took like 12 years to define, but you know, we cannot guarantee that this is going to be the last data format that healthcare industry is going to use. And you know, the creating the possibilities that you can change that format easily and not change anything else, it's crucial for a future definition, for future implementation. And we already having these definitions, capabilities, and this is the regulatives. So this is sometimes that, you know, the vendors just focusing in. Of course, out of the box, we are supporting multi-tenancy. So B2B business, B2B2C, it's already implemented in our platform. Our deployment capabilities, it's so flexible that really we are cloud native platform. So it means that you can deploy it on-prem, on cloud, or hybrid, completely ready for containerized environment. And we already built the consent management. Sometimes our clients just paying or buying the vendors that just going to cover only this segment and don't think how it's going to be hard to integrate with other systems as well. So you already have that. On top of that, we not cover today the way how the user is going to log in your ecosystem. Out of the box, we have in the you know, something that we call identity federation. So basically, you can use multi-factor authentication, multi-steps. We have even something that called scripting login process. So basically, you can create per user unique login experience based on the attributes that user bring. Either it's a location, geolocation, either it's age verification, either it's kind of coming with the policy enforcement point that kind of you can allow that, okay, this resource is available only between 9 to 5 and the user is coming from East Coast. All these, it's already inbuilt in our solution. Of course, infrastructure choice, it's up to you. We really don't care, is it going to be deployed on-prem or any cloud vendor, etc., etc. So this is pretty much the answering why you should choose WSO2, not just for open healthcare, but as an integration partner and integration platform. So in the nutshell, now the end that I want to emphasize, what you need to bring with this, that there is 2 or 3 really critical points. First of all, this could be turnkey solution. So literally, if you don't have a power or you don't have IT sector that can support this, we can do that for you. We can spin it. It can run in our environment or in your environment. We're going to kind of put everything on the place. We're going to even create the, how we call it, pre-production version, and we are guaranteed success that you're going to satisfy the regulatives. If you already have the IT structure, you have a manpower that can support, we can build a platform for you that you can use it for a further implementation and integration platform. This is just the key points that I covered. If you need more information or more deep technical data, please come to visit our booth. And this is the resources when you're going to start to kind of, get more information. This is kind of, demo that you can kind of, try it by yourself. This is the some kind of libraries that you can watch our webinars or read about this solution more deeply. And we have white papers on this event, on this location. But also I'm kind of, want to emphasize that this is also not just by a platform not built by from the IT standpoint. In the house, we have subject matter experts that worked for years and years in the healthcare industry. And also we are heavily monitoring these regulatives and working with these experts. We are implementing new requirements in our solution. Because we are open source, we are much flexible, and our circle of improvement is much shorter than for other vendors. And pretty much this is when I'm ending, and I'm open for any questions that may you have. Anyone? Okay, let me ask you. Is there anything that you kind of doesn't understand? Is there anything that, thinking that it's, if you're coming from the healthcare industry, that you think that it's not going to be applicable for you? Let me change your mind. Okay, I hope that, there is a two-way why I don't have any answers. Either I lost you on the half, nobody actually understand anything what I speak, or I was crystal clear. I hope that this is the second one. And, anyway, it was a kind of, my goal here to just present the kind of really just capabilities and, in the nutshell, what our platform is capable to do. Because what you're seeing is literally just can be used as a black box. You can just put it, expose the underlying services, and you never touch it. But this is not our primary goal. You need to understand that what you're actually getting with this and what you are seeing is just top of the iceberg, because you have a comprehensive platform that can be used for digital transformation in your organization. Healthcare solution is just how should I define it, like one usage of this. It's like Swiss knife. You can use it to open a can, but you can be used for any other use cases. So this is similar with our platform. Any questions? One time? Second? Okay, then let's wrap it up and let's go for cocktails, right?